Well, good morning and welcome everyone to our Flowery Flamingo workshop. I just wanted to do this really quick recording for you guys. Those of you that are going to be painting this flamingo, I wanted to do a quick video on how to trace your traceable onto your watercolor paper. There are a few ways to do this. This is a really easy way that I thought, let me show you guys in case you wanted to do it ahead of time and get your paper ready. Or you could do like I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be drawing mine live when we start our painting. So I've had a few people ask me, and I just wanted to do this really quickly to show you a couple of different ways that you can trace your flamingo onto your watercolor paper. One of the ways is to use, of course, like a light box or a light pad if you have one. Not everybody has one. So if you don't, you could also take your watercolor paper and your traceable that you just print out on regular printer paper, and you would tape this to your watercolor paper and tape it to a window. And you should be able to see this through your watercolor paper if you tape it up to a window. This is another way here that's really, really easy to do. You will need a graphite pencil or a piece of graphite to do this. I'm using the Faber-Castell graphite pencils. This is a 4B. You can get these at any craft store or on Amazon if you want. It's best to have like a graphite bar, but I only have the pencils, so that's what I'm going to be using. And also a color pencil. Now these happen to be watercolor pencils, which is totally fine. So what I have here is a piece of tracing paper, cheap old tracing paper, and I've printed out my flamingo. So what I'm going to do is kind of line up my flamingo on my tracing paper. And I'm going to use my red pencil because I want to do it in a color that I'm going to be able to see through once I add my graphite to the back. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to be using this red one, so I will easily be able to see my drawing lines once I start to transfer. So I'm just going to go over my tracing paper here with my red pen. You can use like a regular colored pencil. I mean, whatever is going to work for you. So I'm just going over the lines. If you want to use this way of doing a transfer, and this is what I'm going to be doing during the live. Just going over all my lines, and I'm not worrying about pressing too hard because I'm not on top of my watercolor paper. You don't want to press, once you are over top of your watercolor paper, you don't want to press down too hard because it will create indents in your paper, and we don't want that. So with this, I can press down as hard as I want to really get my markings. I'm not going to be tracing the dots. I'm just going to be randomly adding those in when I do my painting. And don't worry about being exact with this. That's the beauty with painting. You make it your own. If you want to add extra leaf, add extra leaf. Extra petals, add extra petals. So don't be too consumed with getting everything just perfect. Okay. I mean, if you want to tape yours, I have mine down on a piece of gator board, which is just a hard surface that I use when I'm doing paintings. I tape my paper down to my board. So if you want to tape this down to something, you know, so you don't move it around. Whatever would help you. Okay, so there is my flamingo. Let's get rid of this. Now, what I'm going to do is turn my tracing paper over, take my graphite pencil, and just go over where my lines are. And this is what I mean. If I would have did this in regular pencil, it would have been harder to see those lines, my drawing lines. So trying to get a nice coverage, because when you do transfer this to your watercolor paper, you may have to darken some of your drawing lines on, you know, your paper. This is a number 4B. The higher the number, the darker the graphite. Okay, I'm going to take my watercolor paper. Now this is not the one I'm going to be using when I do my painting. This is just a cheaper piece that I have. It's a 9x12. I'm going to be painting on an 8x10. By the way, when I do my painting, I'm going to be doing an 8x10 piece of watercolor paper. Turn your flamingo back over, line him up on your paper where you would like it, and if you need to, tape down pieces just to kind of hold it in place. If that helps you. But see, now the red, I can really see the red coming through there, which if I did that in pencil color, it would be harder to see through that graphite. So now I'm just going to take my regular pencil. I'm going to take my regular pencil, my HB pencil. I love my HB pencils. This is a number 4, but normally I would just use my regular HB, no number. It's the lightest one. And I'm just going to go over my red lines. I'm going to press a little bit firmly, but not crazy hard. I don't want to create indents in my watercolor paper. So I'm just going to now go over my red lines. And again, I am not worrying about getting it exactly the same, because I can always go in and adjust. And if at any time there's questions about anything, please, don't hesitate to post questions in the group here, or you can message me privately if it's something you don't want to post. So I'm just going over all my lines, and this painting will probably take a good, from start to finish. Now I will have, because with watercolors you have to allow drying time in between, but I have a little heat gun that I use to speed things up sometimes, so I probably will be using that. So this painting though will probably take a good bit of 2 hours or a little bit more. So if you don't watch it live, that's totally fine. This tutorial will remain here in the group for as long as, it'll be in there forever. So you can watch it at your leisure, paint at your leisure. If you want to watch it first and then paint later, totally fine. If you want to paint along with me, that's all good too. All right, let's hopefully this transferred over pretty good. Yep. So now I can really see my flamingo, and I know it looks a little lighter on camera, but I can really see it. And now then, you know, I would take my paper down and I'd be ready to get started. So I just wanted to share with you this quick tip on how to transfer your drawing to your watercolor paper. If you have any questions about anything, please, please, please let me know. And I'm excited about Monday. I can't wait to get started. And again, if you have any questions, you just let me know. Okay, I'll see you Monday at 12. Have a great rest of the day.